Hello and welcome to the first episode of Gambling with an Edge. I'm planning on doing a bunch of different episodes, but definitely 3 minimum on videos trying to help people find an edge in different forms of gambling. And in this episode, I'm just mainly going to be talking about understanding and calculating fair odds in sports gambling. Next week, an NFL system where I'm looking at teams that play back-to-back road games that can give an edge. And then week after that, I'll talk about long shot gambling. I mean really long shot gambling, lottery odds, and I'll go through whether it's a positive or negative wager to buy a lottery ticket, the ones that pay you millions and millions of dollars. So we'll go through that, of course, around September 19th. So without further ado, let's start episode number 1 in calculating fair odds. Now today I purchased a 5-game parlay with all favorites shown. Favorites are ones in the negative, so I made a parlay betting on Pittsburgh, Detroit, Miami, Tampa Bay, and Arizona as a point spread of 1.5 point underdog. What that means is, as long as Arizona wins the game or loses by one single run, that's a winner. So therefore, for a parlay to win, you got to get every single game right. If you get 4 right, 3 right, you lose. But if you get all 5 right, then you win. I'm getting 20-1 decimal odds, or 19-1. Now, I realize bookies are smart, and when a team is barely favored to win, I have to think they're usually a good long-term play based on the odds, or they know what they're doing. So if Chicago had a better chance of winning than Pittsburgh, you would think that they'd be favored. And by playing all 5 favorites, what would be my return on investment without factoring bookie errors? Bookie errors mean, well, here, they're telling you that Pittsburgh's got a little greater than 50% chance of winning. But if you do a lot of research, maybe you might find out that the Cubs have a 50% chance of winning. Or maybe they're not favored enough and Pittsburgh should be like 65% chances. I'm not going through that within this. Assuming you have no idea what the sport is all about, this is a way of getting a tiny edge. And I'm making my wager within the Ontario Lottery Corporation, which allows sports gambling. So therefore, I want to try to find out what the fair odds are. So when Pittsburgh is at negative 135 and the Cubs are at 125, there's a small amount of juice. Put it this way, it means you have to put you have to bet 135 to win 100 profit on Pittsburgh. And you got to bet $100 to win 125 on Chicago. Therefore, let's assume the bookies got one bet on each side. One person bet on Pittsburgh, they bet 135. One person bet on Chicago, they bet 100. So they're going to win in the long term no matter what, because these numbers are not even. But for fair prices, I need to make them even. So by making Pittsburgh down to 130 and Chicago up to 130, I could now determine what the fair odds happen to be, as well as doing the same thing for the other 4 games as well. So let's do that now. So we can change San Francisco, Detroit to 126, so on and so forth. Now to calculate what the decimal odds happen to be, for the underdog, it's really simple. Plus 130, you change the 1 to a 2, you get 2.3 decimal odds. If there happen to be an underdog of, say, plus 210, well, that means they're 3.1 odds. If they're 5-1, well, then you add 1 to that, it's 6-1 decimal odds. For the favorite, say the minus 130, what I do is I add 100 to the number. So at 130, I add 100 to 230, divide that number by its normal number of 130, and I can get the decimal odds. Say minus 145, you can see here, 245 divided by 145. Calculating all the odds, Pittsburgh, Detroit, these are the chances that each of them win using fair odds. Therefore, I'm trying to find out what my ROI is, return on investment, for taking Pittsburgh to win the game, Detroit to win the game, Miami, Tampa Bay, and Arizona to stay within one of the LA baseball Dodgers. That's not how I should say it, but I just did. And by multiplying the 5 together, you get fair odds of 17.9. I multiply this, 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 and this. Now, why is that important? Well, assuming, what's the chances Pittsburgh's win? Well, apparently it's that. But what's the chances Pittsburgh and Detroit wins? Well, obviously, if this is correct, then I got a 1.794 chance. So I multiply the two together. Then that's the odds for them both to win. Or this is the odds for all 5 to win, 17.9. Now, I'm being offered 20 to 1 odds. So therefore, my return on investment is greater than 10%. Because the difference is a little over 2. 2 divided by 20, that's where the 10% comes into play. So therefore, if I were to make 18 of these bets, I should win once. And that 18 on a $1 wager would pay me $20 back. It would cost me $18 to get those bets in at 1 per unit shot. So that'd be a gain of 2 on $20. Again, there's your 10% return on investment. So thank you for tuning in to the first episode within Gambling with an Edge, and I'll talk to you later on. Take care.